I think loneliness is one of the most interesting concepts in the world. I think there's two types of loneliness in this world. There's people who dwell in loneliness. There's people who, bathe and bath themselves in the fact that they are lonely, or they're going through a phase right now where they don't have any much human connection, and they're not able to, really get down to the nitty gritty with other human beings. They're not able to, socialize with other people. And I think there's another phase which is about purposefully loneliness. I'm gonna put it like this. I think isolation is important to human development. Absolutely. I'll absolutely advocate for this for as long as I live, especially from personal experience. Not too long ago, I went through a pit where I was completely isolated myself. I wasn't in a situation where I made friends, had any friends. It was only me and my own thoughts, and it got me to the point where I am now. Right? And why I think it's so useful, because once you truly put yourself in a position where there's no background noise, where there's no, people telling you to do this and that, you can't be a yes man, or you can't be this and that, because you're only yourself. Each action you do is only by yours. Or just people who maybe battle with masking, who battle with, like they don't know what their true identity is. People who feel like they're lost in life, people who feel like they need some healing, people who have gone through a lot of pain, this and that. Is very good to go through a state of isolation. But this is the kicker. What is isolation? Isolation is technically isolating yourself in the world, whether it's physical interactions, whether it's verbal, whether it's just making friends, whether it's intimate, whatever it could be, right? Of course, the natural phase of this will just be staying at home, not doing much, staying in your own place, staying in your own little cubby hole, right? And trying to be as comfortable there as possible. But I think where people always go wrong is where they sit in this, they bedrock, or they sit in this place where they don't allow for their mind to grow. They don't allow for there to be any improvement in any way. That being alone is different from being lonely. Is almost in almost embracing and glorifying the place of being alone, being in isolation. What I would say the best thing for you to always do, if you especially decide to go in a pit of isolation, or you're already in a pit of isolation, is to try and use this time as vital as possible. You're never going to realize how important it is to be in this phase of not having any friends when you're young. It's really good, because it means that you're going to be able to build your own character. And even if you've been in a place where fallen a lot of times, now you're going to be in that place where you can try rebuild up who you are and try and figure out who James and Trinisa is, right? That's why it's so important. That's why it's so vital. So I would definitely say my best advice will always be, try find a hobby, try find an interest, try find the faults of your character, the really good things of your character, try and perpetuate that, try make that the marketing thing, try find your USP. What's USP? Unique selling point. Of course, that's talk about product or services, but that is also, you can also use that in the same frame of being a human being. Your personality, what makes people wake up and say, I want to text James today, or I want to call my girlfriend Trinisa. That's what it is. What is your USP? Your USP isn't you mask, because as soon as you try to be a personality that's not yours, you become a clone. You become a second of somebody. So you don't have any USP. You don't have a unique selling point. How can you have a unique selling point where you have no more unique qualities anymore on display? Because you're masking it with common qualities. You're masking it with common things you see on social media, or you see within a friendship group, or in your society, that deems in your brain that it is acceptable.
Okay, you got me there. But that is not a crime.
When reality is not. The only thing that's acceptable in this world is your uniqueness. It's what makes you you. Of course, I'll definitely be going into video, talk about masking uniqueness, because I could talk about days about that. But to focus on loneliness, being lonely is not a bad thing. People have, I get it why you have, you may think it is, because people have pushed that view that being lonely is a sucker. Being lonely is so depressing. Being lonely is all this and that. Being lonely could be one of the most biggest peaceful in the world. The biggest peace in the world. Being lonely is when you can truly find yourself. You can truly find what you wanted to do. Your whole life you could have wanted to be a content creator, a YouTube video, or a TV presenter, or a dancer. But it's only when you get to that pit of isolation you realize that was never truly your passion. That was never truly what woke you up every morning. You was just succumbing to the society around you, and that you have now realized that you really just want to write books, or you really find it fascinating about fishes, and you want to dive all day. I hate fishes, but that's just what your yay is. It's different to mine, because we have different unique selling points. I'm going to continue to establish this thought that being lonely is not a bad thing. Being lonely is not a reason to give up. Being lonely is not a con on you being you. Being lonely, honestly, can be the biggest toll in your life. As I say, my personal experience, when I was in a pit of loneliness, and of course I went through a dark place, a dark time, that was when I truly realized what my passion is. And I truly realized why I need to live, why I need to continue fighting every day, right? And especially when you're in that place where you've been knocked down and you're at the bottom now, no friends, all this and that, you can build up your repertoire, you can build up your reputation, you can build up your arsenal, you can build up your friends, right? Because it's different once you're trying to achieve a goal and you're around people who's not like-minded, people who is not in the same field, people who do not have the same dedication as you, and and that can kick you off your roll a little bit, especially they're judgy people, right? No one likes a little bit of judgy people. We want people who accept you for you, and it's very common that this can happen in this situation, that people judge you, people kick you off your train track even when you don't want them to. And it's unfortunate, even when it's not like it's a conscious thought, it could be a subconscious. But when being lonely, this is something that doesn't happen. The only chance of this happening is just like, of course, the devil's temptation or just the negative thoughts in your brain. But that's what it is. It's just thoughts. And it's a bit easier to remind yourself that these thoughts are just trying to keep me away from where I'm destined in this life, instead of my mate or my girlfriend or my friend, my homegirl, my homeboy from like 20 years now has been, he's putting down my ear. You ain't got it like this. Don't embarrass yourself. You don't it could easily put yourself in a mental space where you don't want to pursue this dream anymore. You don't want to pursue it anymore. You're not giving as much to it anymore because the people around you have negatively influenced you. And it's not their fault. They're not bad people. But some people just unfortunately have this viewpoint on things. Some people are defeatist. Some people are, pessimistic. And you want to, especially when you have a dream and a goal, you want to be around people who are the opposite. And being lonely gives you that. But what I'd definitely say to you is being lonely is fine. You are lonely. You have no friends. And that's okay. But what you do have, you have a life. What you do have, you have potential. What you do, you have time. That's one thing about being lonely, is you have a lot of time. And you should really think about that. I say the best thing to battle loneliness is to keep yourself busy, keep yourself going. Look at why you're lonely. Okay, if you don't know why you're lonely, let's think of a plan. Let's make that 24 hours feel like 8 hours split into 3, right? If you don't think you have a hobby, let's go through hobbies. Let's get a list going. Let's go through each and every hobby, and hopefully you find your hobby, you find your yay, and then that what pushes you more on, and that's what you can join societies, groups, focal groups, discords, Snapchat group chats, all of these things that involve with this hobby, and that's how you find your friends. But yeah, you ain't gotta listen to me. Why that? I'm just a guy in the jail.
I don't really care about what you show me. Chasing, tell me why you chase me when I'm touring. Relaxing, with me while we kick it in the forest. Still texting, phone on D&D or what you call it. All of the bitches is fake. It's probably might need me a break. No need to say what you take. No reason to call me this late. Now I want